Hello and welcome to the Tarkis Zone. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a short video in the game of Black Desert Online, and this video is really going to be around the questions I received from viewers like yourselves. So really, I'm going to get started. One of the big questions I get from people is, tell me a little bit about workers. I'm starting the game brand new. I really don't know what I'm doing. What's this thing about the workers? And I'm going to quickly help you understand what these workers are about. This town right here that I'm going to be highlighting, this is the town you're going to start in. Now you can start your worker empire anywhere you want. You can get workers out of this town. You can get workers out of Villia, and you can get workers out of Heidel and even Calpheon. You can get workers anywhere. Well, but we're going to be tackling getting started here, okay? So I'm going to tell you how I did it, and it's been very helpful for me to get money in this game, the way I systematically went around and did this. And I remember day one, and I remember what I needed to do in day one. So here we go. I would suggest any new player either start in Villia, which is going to be your second town. I showed you where the first town was. You follow the road or just follow the ocean to the southeast, and you're going to come to Villia. Now you can start your worker empire here. You can get your first worker out of here. You could do a quest where they give you a naive worker. But I will tell you this. It is better to roll the RNG to get the worker through spending your labor, and I'm going to explain that in a second, than it is to use free workers that are given to you, unless they're skilled. Sometimes you can get a scroll that allows you to hire a skill, or even an artisan. Yeah, you want to use that scroll, but if it's a white scroll or a white worker you're going to get, it's not worth getting. So again, you can start your worker empire in Villia or in Heidel. And what I did is I did Heidel. It was just easier for me. So what you will do is, in any town that has a warehouse in it, there's going to be a person in that town that will allow you to hire a worker or sell a worker to you. Now there's two ways you can go about getting a worker in this game, and I'm going to go down to the worker, the person that actually will sell me a worker down here in Heidel, just to show you what that screen looks like. Here he is right here. You can contract a worker, or you can exchange a worker. You could purchase a worker that already has skills. But I'm thinking you're starting the game new. You're going to probably hit contract worker. I'm going to hit this, and it's going to basically tell me that I can't hire anymore because I have maxed out the lodging in Heidel. I have maxed it out. So I have all the workers you could ever get out of Heidel. But I wanted to show you this. Now, this will say to you, for 5 energy points, I'll show you a worker, and you say yes. This guy will show you a worker, and you can decide yourself if you want to hire that worker, or you can try the RNG again and spend another 5 energy. Now you can spend as much energy as you've got to look at the workers he's willing to give you. It's all RNG. Now the RNG meaning that he might give you either a goblin, he might give you a human, he might give you a giant. That's the first bit of RNG, right? And then the second part of the RNG is he might give you a green worker, he might give you a white worker, he might give you a blue worker, or even an artisan worker, purple worker. And you have to decide if you want to hire that person or not. And I usually hire green giants, and I don't really want to go into the details of that in this video, but that's my preferred worker because I don't mind skilling them up. So let's say this person decided to allow you to hire a green giant out of this town. Well, the great thing about each town that has a warehouse that you first come to, you do not require lodging for that worker for the first one that you hire. So if I was here day one, rolled the RNG, spent my 5 energy, then I would then decide I'm going to hire this worker, and that worker would be mine. And I didn't have to have any lodging in this town to do that. And that is true in any location that there is one of these work supervisors. So, and how you find a work supervisor is you want to use this icon up here and click on this icon here, worker, and you can see that an auto path was just generated to him. And it's going to generate an auto path to the closest person. Now, again, there is one of those supervisors in Villia. There's one of them in the starting town here. There's one of them in Caltheon. There's going to be one of them in Kepler. I believe that's Kepler. Yep. Any town that has a warehouse. So you can go to any one of these towns and get that first worker for free. So that would be where you'd want to start, because you don't have to have that much contribution points. Because what happens is your contributions are going to dictate how many workers you can have in the field. But remember this, is you have to have lodging for any worker over that first one. So if you don't want to spend that extra contribution point, then from Villia, hire at least one worker out of Villia without needing the lodging, and then go down to Heidel and do the same thing. There's 2 workers right there that require no lodging, and just the cost of buying the worker. Now that's the other thing, is when you go to hire the worker, it's going to cost you some silver. So make sure you have some silver in your inventory or in the storage or warehouse facility of that town, because you can pull out of that if you want. Now let's talk about a little bit of the lodging. Well, the lodging, how that works is you just click on the city and you find which buildings. Now there's a couple ways you can do it. You can click on each building and find it, or you can go up to this filter here and click on lodging, and it's going to show you all the buildings that are lodging. And so what you'd want to do is click on, whatever. I think I started here in this upper corner, because here you can buy one lodging at a time. So it would only cost you 1 contribution point here, and then you'd have another worker. And then you buy the next one in line, it only costs 1 contribution, and you can get another worker. So you can start getting workers out of here with little contribution costs. And that's why Heidel I found to be easy starting out. Now, another question someone asked me, well, I get my workers going, what nodes should I have? Well, again, this is for the person starting out in the game that doesn't understand, what I need to make this work. Well, what you need to make this work is you need ingredients to make beer. Or you're going to be a slave to the auction house or marketplace where you have to buy beer all day long. And I have a beer video, couple of them, on how easy it is to make beer. So if you get the ingredients, or if you have your workers get the items for you, then the beer process is simple, and you can have as many workers as you want. I mean, if I hit my worker icon, you'll see I'm up to 56 workers. I'm up to 56 workers. And I've never bought a beer since I played the game, because I can not only make the beer I need to get these guys going, but I also sell all my excess beer that I don't use. So that comes down to what nodes you need to get. Now, if you get that worker at a Villia here, there is a farm here in the south that is a potato farm. You can see that I've highlighted it here. It's potato. And how you would get your worker to work there is you can either go to this location and talk directly with the node manager, or you can just click on it, and in here it'll ask you if you want to. I've already bought this node or invested in this node, but it will ask you, do you want to put a contribution point into this node? You can do it remotely, but it costs you energy to do it. You'll need the main node, and then you'll need the actual farm node. And again, it's a contribution. I think each one of these is just 1. So if my memory serves me right. So it would cost you one contribution to get the main farm, and then it costs you one contribution to get the node. But once you click on the node and you have that worker ready to go, it will allow you to tell that worker to come here. And what that worker will do is that worker will work this node and bring those potatoes back into Villia. And that worker will continue to do it until their stamina runs out. And when that happens, they just stop working. And that's where the beer comes in. If you can remote, I'll show you how you remote this. As long as you have beer in your inventory, you can click on this icon anytime. I go to recover all. I then click on my beer and I go confirm. Now this remotely gives them all the beer that they want, and then I hit repeat all, and that's it. Now all those workers are back doing what I asked them to do until their stamina runs out again. So that's how easy it is to run your empire once you get it going. I mean, it's just as long as you've got the beer in your inventory. Now the other node that I wanted to talk about, because again, people ask me what nodes are the best nodes if I'm beginning. Now, all these nodes, honestly, around Villia are great. I believe here we have another potato node. Same instructions as before. You can come here to invest no energy, just talk to them directly, and then invest your contribution, or do it remotely by spending your energy. So this potato farm you definitely want. Now I'll tell you this, once you have both those potato farms going, you'll have enough potatoes to run 20 workers easily. You'll make the beer yourself, watch my other video about that, but you'll have enough to get up to about the 20 worker capacity just off those two nodes. Now, in addition to those nodes, moving forward, here are some big ones that you're going to want. You're going to want any iron node in the game. And I believe there's one here at this cave. That's copper, and it's right here. This is the iron one. I have both of them. As you know, I've got pretty much every node in the game at this point, but the ones that matter. So I would get the iron ones first, get those, and I'll explain to you why that is important in a sec. There's one right above Heidel in the, let me just make sure you see it. So here's Heidel, and there's a quarry right here, and there is an iron node right here. And why that's important is iron is used for quite a bit of items in this game, steel being one of them. So what I would do is have your worker bringing you in the shards and then melt them down into their tier 2 component using processing. And this is not about processing, so I hope you understand what I'm talking about when I say get it to the middle stage, get it to the melted shards. Don't bring it all the way up to the ignite. Just leave it as the melted shards and sell the melted shards on the auction house, because those go for quite a bit of money, plus they always sell. And that's the other thing about these nodes I'm telling you to get, is the items coming out of these nodes always sell on the auction house. So starting out, money is key. Money is king in this game. So if you just get these workers to bring these components in for you, and you make the excess beer that you don't use and sell that, and then sell the melted iron shards, you will be well on your way to moving forward. Now, there are other questions people had around workers. Can I have a worker go from Heidel and work these nodes up here? Yes, as long as the road is connected. So if you wanted to start your worker empire in Heidel and get no workers out of Villia, and that's what I did. I never bought a worker out of Villia until later in the game. I went down to Heidel. I invested contributions in all these nodes going up into these areas, and once you've connected them, workers can go. I'm connected all the way to Calpheon. I actually could take a Calpheon worker and send them in this direction. I wouldn't, because that person would just be walking all day long. It's just, you want to make sure that you get your nodes connected so that you can move into different regions, because what you'll find is if it's not connected, and let's say I've got a worker in Kepler, and I try to say to that worker, go work a node over in Heidel, it's going to say, no, it's not connected, because I do not have that connected. There's no need for that to be connected, in the way I look at it. The other thing is that people ask me quite a bit about is what items sell the most. You know, what are the things that you're going to walk to the auction house and know when you get up in the morning that it's going to sell. Now, right now, if you look at my numbers, you'll see where I'm at. I'm fourth in gathering. It looks like I'm second in processing and second in wealth. And I'm on California 1 channel. So, you know, that kind of gives credence that I know a little bit about making money in this game. The things that I find that sell, that you'll get, is the Blackstone powder. That will sell guaranteed. The beer, guaranteed. Steel ingots will sell guaranteed. Cedar plywood always sells guaranteed. What else do I normally sell? Oh, cotton and flax sell at its raw components, just right off the vine. So basically what I mean by that is you get your worker to bring it into your warehouse and sell that at its rawest component. So let me scroll. See, like this, the thread never sells anymore. Early in the game, it used to sell a lot, but now people want the actual, just the raw component, and that's what these are. So those always sell if you put them up at their low stage. And for example, let me right click on the cotton. Basically, my worker brought that in and it sells for $4.20. Look how much money I'm going to make, and there's no way I invested that much in keeping that worker going. So it's definitely a profit. So that went up. So those are really the few questions that people have asked me. Another question people ask me is, what's your processing? You know, a lot of your videos are around your processing, and you get more when your processing is higher. I agree with that totally, but honestly, your processing doesn't need to be very high to benefit from my videos. And I usually tell people, if you can get into the professional area, you know, anything above professional, that would be what, yellow, then you're going to be good to make as much profit as you want. And it shouldn't take you long to get there, because, you know, processing is free now. It doesn't cost you energy to do it, and it's something that is easy to do. You can AFK it. You can really get it up there quickly. The other thing is the secret to processing a lot of the time is getting weight increases. Get that through the loyalty shop. You hit F3, then you go to loyalties, and there is a slow increase. There it goes. This is it here. Weight limit increase, 3,500. Now I think I've got 3 of those on my character already, so I'm going to buy a 4th one. Yep, I want to buy a 4th one. Purchase. Oh, my purchase limit had been reached, so I've actually bought the 4 you can buy. So basically, that's what I've done. Is I bought 4 weight increases through this process. It was free because it was loyalty, and it allows me to bulk up on items so I can spend 40 minutes to an hour processing. Because the problem with AFK processing, if you only can hold 20 items, you're only going to be doing it for 8 minutes until you stop doing it. But if you can hold 8,000 items, then you can really AFK the processing process. Same thing with cooking, making your beer. The more ingredients that you can have in your inventory while making the beer, obviously you'll be able to do it longer. Well, I think I addressed a few of the questions that I've received. This is really just a viewer's my response to my viewers. I know I go in and I type and I tell you what I think, but you know, as you know, I just wanted to be certain that I addressed in a video people's questions. Well, I thank you for joining me, and this has been the Tarkis Zone.